Guild and KCHW 102.7 bring you Artists on the Air, here to present their local flair.
Programming made possible by donations from the following.
Really
SETI's Ace Hardware.
SETI's Ace Hardware is now reopened.
I got to hit the stop button there. Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of Artists on the Air with your host, Diane Evans from the Chewela Arts Guild. Go ahead. You ready to take it away, Diane?
Yes, so I really like saying this initial comment, Chuck.
Yeah.
I like saying that this is Artists on the Air, Season 2, Episode 4.
Yeah, right?
So I really like that. So, so we've had 4 artists on the air, fun artists, interesting artists. We have another one here today, but I'm going to say a few comments before I introduce our guests today. So we've had Julie Everson and Greg Schmitz and Susan and Wayne Pedersen and our daughter Maggie. And before we dive into this interview, I need to say a little bit about Chewela Arts Guild. We're gearing up for the Taste of Chewela event, and more specifically, the Taste of Chewela art auction. And that is primarily why we're here today, as we're interviewing local artists every Tuesday at 4 o'clock. So that's what's happening. It starts at 4:30 in downtown Chewela, and the art auction starts at 4:30 at the brewery. So we're going to have all kinds of great local art as we have in years past. So
And those tickets are for sale now, correct?
They are. They are for sale, Chuck.
Where do we get those tickets?
You can get them online, ChewelaArtsGuild.org. You can get them at Acres United Drug and Valley Drug. So anyway, we sold out the past few years, and we sold out last year a week early. So you get your tickets so you don't lose out. So today, let's see. Last week I said, Chuck, that I didn't really want to say too much about the other artists, but I had to say that we had an extra special artist last week. We did, but I want to say that this week we have another special artist, and that's Blake Wiers. So, welcome, Blake.
That's a big introduction to live up to.
Here, I got some for you, Blake. Oh, no, never mind, because there's a window open. Never mind, just skip it. Here, there we go.
What are we hearing?
Oh, it's some applause.
Oh.
I give you a round of applause. There you go.
Oh, yeah, good. Okay. So let's begin, Blake, with you telling us a little bit about important information, like where did you grow up? What brought you to Chewela? Those kinds of questions.
Okay, well, first, I'll just start with a Chewela thing. So I moved to Chewela 3 years ago. I've been around for about 4 years. We started working on a house 4 years ago. And one thing I noticed here in Chewela is when there's an event or something like that, people often forget to sort of give you the basic details about it. Like today, I sort of almost showed up a little late to this interview because I was missing a detail. And so what event are we talking about again?
The Taste of Chewela.
A Taste of Chewela. And when does that happen?
September 18th.
Sweet. Okay.
September 18th starts at 4:30. And do you know about it?
I've not been yet. What happens there?
Oh,
You haven't been.
It is the event. So You buy the ticket and you wear the lanyard with the old-fashioned yarn string.
Okay.
And this year we have 10 restaurants. So you travel around to each restaurant and you get a sampling of their signature dish. And it ends up being a meal.
Okay.
And then some.
And then you either sometime during that time or at the end, but don't wait till the end because you might lose out on one of the art pieces at the brewery. Okay,
so there's art at the brewery.
Yes, there's going to be one of your pieces at the brewery.
Right.
Yes.
Which is what got me involved in this whole
That's right.
scheme.
That's right.
Scheme.
Because you hung
Sorry.
your art at the brewery, and I
Right.
was just awed by it.
Yeah, Jake and Patrick were very nice to give me that break.
Yeah. So just to continue at the brewery on September 18th, there's dessert and coffee, and then the art auction.
Oh, really? Okay. Dessert and coffee. Now we're talking.
Okay.
And so if I can make another observation about Tooele.
Okay.
If you said it starts at 4:30, it'll probably be going off around 4 o'clock, like be at its most packed. And there's going to be, if you said there's going to be desserts and coffee, there are going to be a lot of desserts.
Yes, there's
Yeah.
a dessert for everybody. There's only 250 tickets.
Ooh.
So, you will be assured, you should be assured,
Yeah.
a small plate at each restaurant and a dessert.
Well, my wife is vegan, and so it's often a tough sell on her, these kind of events. But I never know. Maybe I'll go. Maybe I'll get my brother-in-law to go.
Eric?
Eric, you know
Oh, yeah.
Eric.
He's way fun.
He sure is fun.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty
I don't
sure
know
we'll
if he's
see him and
listening or-
his wife out there.
So I was talking about this program with Eric and Kim one day. It was actually at the Tempest play on the green. And I was trying to convince Kim to come on this show, and she was just adamant. Absolutely not. There wasn't anything I could say that would tempt her or encourage her. But Eric was interested.
Yeah, he'll be happy to talk.
I've told this story a couple of times. It was just so cute. He said, I said, well, it's about art and artists. And he said, well, on the Gold Hill, we make dirt sculptures.
Absolutely.
So I said, oh, that's interesting. Maybe he could come on the air.
Nice.
And we could talk about dirt sculptures in the Gold Hill.
I've thought of myself
That'd
as
be
an
fun.
artist of the dirt many times. My wife is a gardener, and I help her with hardscaping and do a lot of digging, very artfully.
Yeah. So there you have it. Okay. So back to this interview. Okay. But I really like the way that you asked me those questions, and I was able to answer them, first of all. But to slow down and think about, when you want somebody to be on the air, you need to tell them what time you want them here.
Yeah, I started out my career in advertising, and I've done like not a lot of interviewing over the year, but some interviewing. I did like a documentary film and stuff, and like the who, what, where, when, why is like the kind of, I always try to make sure I hit those basics in everything that I do,
Yeah. So my excuse for not telling you not why, but what time to be here, was we had guests this weekend for about 4 days. And I just lost track of the other responsibilities in my life and realized that I really am not as skilled at multitasking as I thought I was. And so I obviously miss telling you what time to be here. So
Guests can definitely take a lot of energy.
yeah.
However, I'm pretty sure you did tell me the first time around. I just didn't actually write it down. So.
Well, now you're giving me an out. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about you coming to Chewelah. Why did you choose Chewelah?
In-laws. Following in-laws. My sister-in-law, brother-in-law moved here because they were living on the west side, and he enjoys skiing, and he was working in a job that he needed to travel occasionally, but didn't really need to show up in the office that much. So he was looking for a town that was an hour from an airport, close to a ski area, and Chewelah fit the bill.
Yeah.
And we moved up here because we've always wanted to be closer to them. And when the pandemic happened, a bunch of things happened that just kind of made a change in our life possible. And
you heard about this really cool radio station, right?
I heard about the cool radio station. No, when I grew up on the East Coast, and I know that's one of your questions. I don't want to jump the line here, but I grew up on the East Coast, and when I moved west, I wanted to go skiing. That was my original intention behind moving west. And I called up a buddy, and I told him I wanted to move to Utah. And he explained some reasons that I shouldn't move to Utah and convinced me to move instead to San Francisco. And I did. And I lived there for a long time before moving here. And where was the story going? The story was going that now, when I had this opportunity to move here, I finally had an opportunity to fulfill that dream of skiing. So here we are, and this year I have a locker.
Oh, nice. A locker.
Is it one of the new lockers they put up there?
Oh yeah.
Nice, because I know they've did a bunch of construction over the last year, and they just put the new lockers in, and you can keep those season long, right?
Well, it's for the full season totally, and you don't get to keep stuff there over the summer.
Right.
It's got like a little dryer for your gloves and for your helmet.
Oh my
your
gosh.
Boots. And it's just kind of a nice kind of a club type atmosphere in there. That I feel a little guilty enjoying, but I think I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah. It sounds like you've arrived.
I don't know if I've arrived, but certainly our plan is to stick around and stay. I mean, I think of this as a retirement move. I know that, that's basically my take on it.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Okay, so now we're going to talk about art. When did you start dabbling in art?
Now I can bring my mother into it.
Okay, good.
So, my mom was an artist for certain growing up. She's a watercolor painter. And from a very young age, I watched her painting. She gave me all kind of tips, And definitely it was a major influence on, me wanting to draw. But then I like every other kid, I looked at cartoons and did all kind of other crazy stuff. Talk a little louder?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, my mom was definitely an early influence, and I've just always enjoyed making art, being creative, drawing, painting, and I did all that up through high school. College came around. I went to go to business school. That didn't work out. I wound up as an art major, and went to art school and also got a second degree in communications, and wound up working in advertising. And did mostly writing, and didn't really do too much art making, drawing wise. But the school that I went to, Mason Gross School of the Arts, is known for its performance art. And as a visual artist, I went there because I was attracted to visual art. I was forced to learn about the full scope of the arts. And as a result, we were, talking about being dirt artists. I think that that school gave me the notion that, you know, a wide variety of things that you do in life can be considered art. So today I'm hoping, you know, we can talk a little bit about some of that stuff, but mostly I'm just hoping we'll focus on my painting practice.
Well, let's just focus on it right now.
Yeah. Sweet.
So tell us about your painting practice.
Well, so I started out like a lot of people, imitating my mother, painting watercolors. I learned some oil painting, and went through college learning just basically all the different techniques. And after college, you know, you're kind of on your own. What are you going to do in life? And I worked in a creative field, and I did a lot of computer type art, but not so much hands-on type art. I've enjoyed making art, and over the years I took a few stabs at making art. I did a series of watercolor drawings of San Francisco that I attempted to sell on the street. I reproduced them, put them in nice mats, and didn't do terribly well. I did a series of black velvet paintings where I painted kind of some classical black velvet motifs, muscle vans, and
Elvis,
exactly. and those did well with some friends, but kind of didn't go too far. Although I did do some dog portraits that did pretty well. And I kind of, you know, just kind of dabbled in art here and there. I remember one year, my wife and her sister do a sisters conference every year, and they one year did it. They usually go to like a hotel somewhere, but that year they did it at home at our house, and I was invited to teach a class in art making, and so I taught a class in hipster art making. And our job was to go out and find materials like on the street and then make art out of it. And really that kind of approach over the years has been more and more kind of my take on making art. And while I said it ironically, you know, that it's hipster art making, it's kind of where my ethos has grown from. A lot of my early art, you know, I bought a lot of materials and I put them all together. I put together all these black velvet canvases and all this stuff. And then I had this massive problem of like, how do I get rid of this stuff? And since those times, I've really thought about that quite a bit. And in fast forward a number of years, and I'm getting into my middle age, and I'm thinking when I retire, I would like to be an artist. And why? And at the time, I was in my early 40s, I guess. I said, you know, if I'm going to be an artist like then, when I'm 60-something, I should probably like start like making some art now so that I can maybe be good by by that time. And so maybe about, I don't know, 10 years ago, I picked up the paintbrush again and started working on cardboard. And that path brought me to the brewery.
Mm-hmm. And you started working on that 10 years ago?
Yeah. So my take on the cardboard was it's something that I could, at the time, I would just walk around and pick up a piece of cardboard that was, you know, somebody set out with the trash, and I would I'd carry a piece of charcoal with me, and while my dogs were sitting there on a leash, I would make a drawing, bring it home, and paint it up. And I did that for a long time, and it made a lot of cardboard, like a heck of a lot of cardboard in my studio. and which was problematic. You have to get rid of all this art, but at least it was like it started as cardboard. I could just throw it away, which is what I did mostly. I hung up some of it, but also in that process, I got a lot of painting practice, and using these like disposable materials allowed me to like not be precious and to just be really gestural and to have fun with my painting and not like try to make a big deal out of every single painting that I made. And in that process, I like discovered a lot about how I like to paint. It's in this one medium. I'm sure if you give me some other medium, something different would come out of me. But I definitely discovered a lot about it. And so when I had this opportunity to do this stuff at the brewery, it took me a little bit of practice to get back into being able to make images like that again, but it went relatively quickly. And I was not 100% psyched with every image that I made, but I was pretty happy with them.
Mm-hmm. But other people must have been psyched, because did you not tell me that all of them sold except one?
No, five out of 7 did sell.
Oh, it's close.
That's still pretty impressive.
Yeah.
They were priced ridiculously low.
Yeah.
And I was, as I said, I wanted them to go away. I wanted somebody else to have them.
Yeah. Well, from that show, like I said, I was awed by this. I was just, I can't believe this. Somebody's just painting on cardboard. And that's why I really wanted to interview you, because maybe this isn't the right word to use, but they were kind of priceless to me, because I've never seen people paint on cardboard before. And I'm not an artist, so I don't have all the lingo. But it was like block painting. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
There were just blocks of paint
That's about right.
That ended up looking like cool stuff.
That worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'll just be straight. Like, a big part of making art is like the materials that you choose and how you present it all. And I like to push the boundaries. I think that art pushes boundaries. And when I pick up a piece of garbage and turn it into a piece of art, all the materials are recycled. All that paint is house paint. There's nothing fancy going on. The only thing that I bought for those pieces is hairspray to use as fixative on the charcoal. That's deliberate part of art making, and people, look at it and they're like, oh, that's cardboard, whatever. And that part of the reason that I put a frame on those pieces is that people would be like, oh, this is art. I would love to just hang them up there as straight cardboard, but the world hasn't come around that far quite yet.
But you could maybe influence this world, the Chihuahua world. That's where it starts. It starts in Chihuahua, and then it just ripples out from there.
I thought Wallace, Idaho was the center of the universe.
I thought Early, Iowa was the center of the universe.
Early, Iowa? Is
Yeah.
Early the name of a town?
It is.
Huh. What happened in Early, Iowa?
Well, it's the crossroads of the nation. It's where Highway 20 and Highway 71 intersect.
Fair enough reason to be the center of the universe. I'm sure Douglas Adams would approve of that one.
Okay.
Right.
So, have you ever had an exhibition?
I have never had an exhibition.
But you did at the brewery.
I guess I did at the brewery. I got to hang up some artwork. I've hung up artwork at a couple shows previously. And I've certainly hung up artwork in my own home and invited people to look at it. But no, I've never had an exhibition before.
That's a perfect segue, Blake, because I am very curious to know what is hanging in your home.
Well, right now, we have a fairly limited amount of art hanging up. We have probably more art leaning up against the wall than hanging up. Our Pride and Joy is a piece by Rene Garcia Jr., who unfortunately passed away in his early 40s about 10 years ago, as he was getting a name for himself. And our piece, we bought it from a gallery. It was actually in the bathroom of the gallery when we bought it, but we bought it from a gallery, and it's probably about 18 inches wide by 4 feet high on plywood, and it's entirely glitter. It's all glitter, and it's a picture of a woman jumping a motorcycle. She's wearing a bikini, and she's like she's way high up in the air, jumping over a sand dune down in Baja, Mexico. It's called Baja. It's by Rene Garcia Jr. And yeah, that's our Pride and Joy. Mm-hmm. We have a few pieces by my mom. We have a few pieces by me. Mm-hmm. What else do we have? Oh, we have a collection of kind of local nostalgic pieces, folklore or foresty type pieces. Yeah, we have not acquired a lot of local art yet.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like your favorite piece is on plywood. Is that also a recycled piece? It seems like there's a theme going on here with not only what you like to do, but what you prefer in art.
I definitely came of age as part of a scene, that involved an ethos of like street art and and lo-fi art that kind of comes from the people, folk art, embraces folk art. And I didn't really necessarily intend to embrace that in my own art, but here I am. I definitely think that I'm like a little bit of a mixture between my mom doing like scenic landscapes and that tradition of kind of hipster art where it's like, let's pick up some garbage and make this into something.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Well, I just want to put the offer out there. If you have something that you don't want to frame, I mean, this right here is kind of like your home in this room. So you're more than welcome to pin something up on the walls in here. I'm just saying, just putting it out there.
I have so many pieces, Chuck. You don't even want to know.
It'll still be yours.
Do you have enough pieces to have a show?
I just did have a show over at the brewery. It was
Okay.
I don't. I mean, I definitely have enough pieces to have a show about San Francisco skylines, but I don't think that's a show that I want to have anytime soon. Certainly not here. Mm-hmm. I would love to put together enough pieces to have a show, but I don't have them right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you work in a studio?
I do.
Okay, so tell us about your studio.
Well, we live in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, double wide, and one of the bedrooms, the smallest one, is my studio. Mm-hmm. And in that studio, I have a paint. I have a stand-up type of a working desk that used to be like a craft desk, and I have a old painter's carry-all tray that has all my paints and whatnot in it, and then I have some other stuff like a day bed and things that make me comfortable. And believe it or not, I have done almost zero painting in there. I do most of my painting outside at my workbench.
Outside, like outside among the plants and trees and
well, sure,
bees and
next adjacent to the house.
Yeah.
Under a roof.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I don't know. I think I need like a smidge more space to paint, and also like my desk where I would paint is a little too like desky. I need to have kind of like a more open, just wide open space.
More like a table.
Yeah, just something. And it's funny. Oh gosh, I'm forgetting her name right now. There was a neighbor of ours was having a yard sale the other day, and she was selling an easel a very nice easel for only $5. And I thought about buying it, but the reality is, like, at least in this current style of painting that I'm doing, I need to lie things down flat while I'm painting them because I work very wet. And if I had them, up on an easel, I would wind up with all these drips. So yeah, I work on a table.
Well, that could be drips could be interesting. Then you would be into another form of art, and could go that direction.
I played around a lot with drips back in the 90s. I do drips now, like in terms of like splashes and stuff. But in terms of like actually having the canvas drip, for me, that was kind of like a 90s thing to do. And I'm probably not going to do it anytime soon. But I would, consider it in the right circumstances at the right time. But yeah, I did like a lot of kind of just directly derivative playing around, when I was in my 20s, copying artists that were kind of blowing up at the time. Now I'm blanking on the names.
Okay.
Robert McGee, Barry McGee, who went by Twist. I really liked his stuff back at that time.
Where, I'm not familiar with your college. Where was that college?
Rutgers. Well, so Mason Gross is part of Rutgers University.
Okay.
I was technically enrolled in Rutgers College, and then I got my major through Mason Gross, which is their School of the Arts.
Yeah. I think art and communication is a great combination.
Well, why?
Because, communication is about expression. I heard you say that you write. So that's important, descriptive. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it served me fine. I was looking for a second major because, like, having just a straight up art major kind of sets you up to do, like, one thing, which is, like, teach art or be a nanny. And
okay.
Sometimes those are the same thing.
That was a good comment. Oh.
I mean, it's being a professional artist. I don't know how to do it. I'm not there yet. I've been a self-employed person for a long time, but like I said, I've done a lot of, dirt art too, and a lot of other type things like producing. That's more like being a business person. Being a straight up artist is like, you gotta just like kind of burn your underwear and throw caution to the wind, man, because that's the only way I can tell to get there, and I don't have that courage quite yet. I've done a lot of effort in that direction, but I haven't just, I don't know. Maybe I have, actually. Here I am.
I would suggest keeping the underwear because, as we know, a lot of artists can't afford to buy new ones.
Do you do art every day?
Do I do art every day? 5 years ago, I could have said yes. Right now, I would say no. I do not do art every day. Would I like to do art every day? Yes. But, we moved, like I said, 3 years ago, and I just haven't hit my routine again yet.
What do you need to be inspired to do art every day?
For me, it's a lot about having a particular project. I notice that I tend to be like a 3-year person. Like if I find something that I'm super interested in, I can dive into it for about 3 years and like really get into it all, and then I'm done. And after that, it kind of takes me some. Either I'll dabble in it from time to time, or I'll just kind of forget about it, whatever. And so, like, I made a feature film, and that took me, 6 years, but probably 3 years of working on it. I made another feature film, and that took me, 3 years. I got into writing books for about 3 years, and then I kind of, got out of that. Lately, I've been just into homemaking for the past few years, and I think... I'm open to what's coming next, but I'm not there yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is your role in your films that you've made? Do you direct, do you write, act?
My first one I wrote, produced, and directed with a tiny little role in it. My second one I directed and filmed and edited.
Wow. Do you want to tell people what the films are? Are they available on Netflix or
Sure,
IMDb?
yeah. My first one was called Miller's High Life. It came out in 2006. It's up on Amazon. You search it out, Blake Wiers, Miller's High Life. And my second one is called New Urban Cowboy Toward a New Pedestrianism. And that one is up on YouTube. The full feature is up there. You can watch it for free. And that one came out in 2008, I want to say.
Okay. I didn't have a chance to type all that in to look it up, but I'm IMDbing your first one here.
Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff up there. I've got one thing I have been doing over the past few years is been pretty active on YouTube. I did a whole YouTube series about remodeling our house here in town, and it's kind of a goofy series. It's a little bit of a kind of just ASMR type thing combined with some local scenery combined with a little bit of how-to DIY type stuff. There's a compilation video that's like a 50-minute video that has done well, that has a whole bunch of hits up on YouTube, but most of the other videos are in the hundreds or thousands of hits. They're not doing that well. Yeah. That's art, but it's not painting.
No, it's not painting. No, but it is art, and it's sounding like it would interest me. I like the home remodeling and the DIY stuff. I'd like to see that.
It's a lot of content. I enjoyed doing it. For me, when I was working on the house, I was kind of all by myself a lot of the time, and it was like a way to just kind of pass the time and be social. Like my mom could check it out, my wife could check it out, and yeah. But it definitely was a lot of content that I made, and like I said, some of it's pretty ASMR. I don't know if you're familiar with that genre.
No.
So in ASMR, people sort of like do things very soothingly, and they take their sweet time doing them. Like you might have an ASMR video about buttering toast.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It'll show, like the toaster, and it'll be down, and it'll just be that gentle hum going, and then it'll pop. And then will come the butter, and it'll just go scrape, 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 scrape. Yeah, well, I did that for our home makeovers.
That's good. Yeah, okay.
It's about capturing the sounds of the textures and the experience.
Yeah, a lot of it was just lazy editing, where it's just like, I don't have time to cut all that into something that makes sense. We'll just show the whole thing. You can it's YouTube. You fast forward through the parts you don't want to watch.
Mm-hmm. So you also have another form of art that you do here in the studio. So tell us about that.
DJing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, DJing is an odd one for me, but it, I guess, somehow fits right into my life story here. How did I get involved in DJing?
Probably Chuck asked you.
No.
No.
I definitely approached Chuck.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I've been a professional DJ for quite some time. I mean, I don't do it that much anymore, but I can make a party happen.
Oh, I see. Okay. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So tell us about, because what I understand is that you take two styles of music, and we talked about this earlier, and I'm going to say this. You brilliantly weave it together into a show. So what are the two styles of music?
Well, the show is called Rock Country, and it's on Monday nights, and I don't use my own name. I use the stage name, The Professor. And, it's rock and it's country. And while you say they're distinctly different, I am not so sure about the difference of them. They're, in my mind, they're awfully like, they're kissing cousins if they're not directly like brother and sister. So brilliantly weave them together is all. I play them, that's for certain. And other stuff on Monday nights, 6 to 8 p.m. Thanks for tuning in, Rock Country.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what you do that I love is you'll take the relationships in the music or the musicians or the songs, and you sort of do, it's like a before, during, and after sort of picture is the way I like to describe it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's pretty free form, but I definitely pick up on themes. Or I did 6 weeks of Willie Nelson earlier this spring. First one, I